To have a Bible department in a university train ministers, preachers, or special ministries that now we have a whole laundry list of people who are being trained for this ministry or that ministry. The biggest danger initially is that we start to professionalize Christian leadership. We professionalize what it means to be a Christian. Because in a way, all of us are called to do what we can to teach and preach the gospel. So you start giving the impression that that this calling, it used to be a calling, becomes now a profession, which is a danger that we become something that we've never been called to be or to do. It also, for those who are not Bible majors, as it were, we make an academic distinction. Well, I'm not a Bible major, therefore I don't need to study the Bible. And all other majors are kind of given a bye on the study of Scripture. And that's certainly a danger to the church, because we can say, well, the preacher knows and the preacher has studied. And so then we start to rely on the preacher. And whether it be a university, whether it even be, as we sometimes call it, a preacher school or school for preachers. I don't know. This is more LaGardinian than it is scriptural, maybe. But I just find that how people are taught to preach becomes very formulaic at times. You know, you have to have a title for your sermon. Paul never had a title for his sermon. I'm just sure of it. Jesus never had a title for his sermon. He didn't say, okay, today we're going to start a series. I'm going to call it the Sermon on the Mount. No titles, no 3 points that have to be alliterative, sounding alike at the beginning. No poems that add to, the point that you're trying to make. Nothing wrong with any of the above. Nothing inherently wrong with any of the above. But when you're trained to do that, it really starts to become a form over substance thing. We need expository preaching. In other words, get into the Word and what is it telling us? What is it saying? What's the message to us? So homiletics or learning how to preach, the fundamentals of how to preach. I don't know. My dad used to tell a really interesting story about the young man who'd never kissed a girl before. And he told somebody, he said, I just don't know how to kiss a girl. He said, like, where do the noses go? How does that happen? Where do the noses go when you get that close? And finally he fell in love with a girl, and he ended up kissing the girl. And you know what? The noses took care of themselves. That was Dad's point. I don't know why he told that story, what the point was that he was trying to make, but I'm going to say it with regard to preaching, that we can put so much emphasis into how to preach that we just don't, we overthink it. Just get into the Word and share it with passion and conviction. I don't know that we need preacher schools in that sense. If we have a school where people can go and study Scripture and know it as well as they possibly can, that's great. That is really great. But when we make little puppeteers and have sort of sermons that you can almost predict how they're going to go, that I think has done a disservice to us. And we sit through sermons that drone on and on and on. Here I am one that's speaking because I tend to go too long myself. But we already kind of know where they're headed, and now with don't get me started here. Now with PowerPoint, you have to see on the screen exactly what you're hearing in any event. And the theory is that helps you because you can visualize it. No, it doesn't. Leaves some surprise there. Leaves people thinking about things, wondering about things. And the PowerPoint just gets between you and the audience. People say, do you use PowerPoint? I say, no, I just make powerful points. But that's what we need to do. whether it be with PowerPoint or otherwise, we need to make powerful points that are coming from Scripture. And we don't need all the latest gadgetry and wizardry and so forth to do that. Just talk to people very simply about what is in the text in front of all of us. And let's think about it. Let's ask the hard questions, think critically. And it may not even sound like a sermon, but let's maybe that's what university Bible programs and teaching people how to preach produces the wrong thing. I don't know.